Today we will tackle about the moral challenges of globalization. First, let's start from the beginning with the background of globalization. It is the advancement of technology such as mobile phones, airplanes, telephones, and the internet have made the growth of transport and communication that works possible. This means that people and countries can exchange information and goods more quickly and in a less complicated way. The process is called globalization. The first moral challenge of globalization is the rise of radical inequality. As the world becomes more technologically advanced, the gap between rich and the poor is becoming even more pronounced. Accordingly, the global financial scenario is that wealth is concentrated in the hands of the few, while it leaves the majority in poverty. Globalization is a common word used in economy that integrates certain risks globally into foreign countries. Both the consequentialistic and deontological perspectives find globalization morally condemnable from deontology is the theory or study of moral obligations, while consequentialism is the theory that the moral value of an act should be judged by the value of its consequences. The next moral challenge of globalization is the problem of managing global environment to prevent global ecological collapse. Global warming, the biggest threat so far, it causes calamity to further enhance the destructions it causes. Inequality to the industrialization and its effects. Majorly big countries control huge industries, thus causing a huge amount of environmental hazard, but this hazard is also affecting those who are not industrialized countries. The last moral challenge is the intrusion of international economic organizations on indebted nations. International debt. You would commonly hear this from countries that are poor or having a financial countries. Big countries or large private groups are taking this as an advantage to make those smaller countries in debt to them, so whenever they needed something from that particular country, they would just say it and that country will evidently comply because of the incurred debt. Why do we have to pay taxes? People innately seek harmonious lives for the common good based on their will, and on a democratic setting like the Philippines, based on the popular will of the people. Such harmonious relationship is achieved if there is an enabling law which governs the populace. Lifeblood doctrine or power of taxation. Power of taxation is one of the three inherent powers of the state. It is a plenary prerogative enshrined in the highest and supreme law of the land. A great way to achieve common good is through paying taxes. This policy of taxation is set forth in the Philippines and is chiefly stated in the Constitution of the Philippines and three enabling republic acts under Article 6, Section 28 of the 1987 Constitution. State that Congress shall evolve a progressive system of taxation. These are the belief that taxes should be based on the individual's ability to pay, known as the ability to pay principle, and the benefit principle, the idea that there should be some equivalence between what the individual pays and the benefits he subsequently receives from governmental activities. So why do we have to pay taxes? Aside from the fact that it is considered a crime if we don't pay taxes, and tax evasion is punishable under the law, we, as the inhabitants of the state, are obliged to pay so. Taxes are considered the lifeblood of the nation, and without revenue raised from taxation, the government will not survive, resulting in detriment to society. Without taxes, the government will be paralyzed, inactive, and unable to operate.
Broadly construed, the term pluralism refers to the state of having more than one of anything. In other words, pluralism suggests the coexistence of many things, such as nations, groups, opinions, principles, beliefs, and ways of life. And it must be noted that at the core of the principle of pluralism is the idea of respect for diversity. Hence, any talk of pluralism, such as a pluralist society, necessarily involves a diversity of different ideas or people that must be respected, or at least recognized. The principle of pluralism can be applied in a wide range of disciplines and contexts, such as in society, ethics, education, politics, ethnic relations, and legal reform. For example, if one invokes a pluralist society in which each individual or group can pursue its own values and interests, then that person is more or less demanding that each person or group must be valued, recognized, and included as an equal member of society, regardless of gender, religious, ethnic, or socio-cultural differences. However, the social inclusion of individuals or groups does not happen by itself. It should be the result of continued and deliberate choices and actions by individuals, civil society, and the government. As a matter of fact, a pluralist system exists only when a society actively reorients its social, economic, political, and educational system to secure and recognize the equality of every person as a citizen. In the field of ethics, moral pluralism is the idea that there are varying ethical principles and theories, and that they conflict with each other, yet each of them is worthy of respect. Hence, a moral pluralist tends to be open-minded when faced with competing ethical views and moral principles. The moral pluralist also believes that moral issues are extremely complicated, and that no single philosophical approach will always provide the answers. For this reason, a moral pluralist will always analyze the issues from several moral principles or theories before making decisions and taking actions. Pluralism is even more needed in religion. In fact, religious differences are some of the major sources of conflict in history, and even today. Think, for example, of the age-old conflict between Palestine and Israel, and Christianity and Islam. Pluralism in religion refers to the state of being, where people in a religiously diverse society have the right and freedom to worship, believe, practice, and join in community with others according to their own conscience. Of course, people should also have the right to abstain from these activities, such as the atheists and agnostics. Put differently, religious pluralism refers to the belief in two or more religious worldviews as being equally valid or acceptable, but more than mere tolerance, or a simple fact of religious diversity in society, where individuals can freely pursue their religious beliefs and practices. Religious pluralism involves the acceptance and respect for the beliefs and practices of other members of the society. Lastly, pluralism in politics is the recognition and affirmation of diversity within a political body, which is seen to permit the peaceful coexistence of different interests, convictions, and lifestyles. In this vein, most political theorists assume that respecting diverse political views is beneficial to the society as it promotes equality and social justice.